This meeting is called to order on Monday, September 25th, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being recorded. Move to accept the minutes of last week's meeting on September 18th as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The minutes of last week's meeting are accepted as written. We have no announcements tonight, nothing going on this week. Yeah, would you shut that up, please? Thank you. Okay, old business. The complaint on Richmond Road, deadline is October 18th. Any comments on that? Ridley map, anything further on that?
No, it'll be a
Barbara?
while before we're
Okay.
here.
Job descriptions. We've gotten a lot of pushback on that project. You're aware of that.
Yes.
And I've set up a meeting tomorrow morning. I'm going to meet with the section chiefs to discuss this. And Paula, who is the contractor taking care of this, is going to be meeting with us. And we will resolve it then. You know, we still have a signed contract. And I'm not sure if we have any legal basis for canceling that signed contract. Marcy pointed out that there's a clause that says you can cancel the contract on 30 days notice, but that's a reference to an ongoing contract. You know, they have contracts, they're sort of like an open-ended lease with companies that don't have HR departments. And that clause simply said that if you have a long-term contract with them, you can cancel it, but you've got to give them 30 days notice. That doesn't mean that we have 30 days to cancel our contract we've already signed, which is for a one-shot project. So we'll see how this goes tomorrow. If we decide to not go forward with this, and if Paula says that we can get out of the contract, how do you want to handle these job descriptions?
Well, I think what everyone did, other than Jimmy's, I don't think we have anything for Jimmy yet, was great as far as describing all of their duties. I think what we need to look into is format.
That was
I
one of my
think-
big concerns. I want them in a one standard format.
Right, they need to be formatted, but other than that, I feel all the information is there. Once we decide on a format we're going with, I think that information just needs to be transferred onto the format.
Okay, so the question then is, who's going to do that? It's a massive administrative task. I shouldn't say massive, it's a large administrative task.
It is.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted an outside contractor to do it. For the same reason that we use outside contractors for zoning and planning issues with Carol. We have somebody to handle our computers who comes in and updates the software and all that stuff.
Okay, then let's put it this way. I think we can pool our resources between employees and maybe selectmen and get it done. I don't see why that could.
You want to handle that project?
I guess.
Okay. Do you think then we need to continue with this meeting tomorrow?
No, I think we can do it. I think we have.
Do what?
The formatting.
Okay.
Okay, we need to find an example to go with though, that everybody
Well,
is conducive to.
And I have one. We did the one for library director 2 years ago. I gave that to Paula and she looked at it and said, that's great. That's a great format.
Oh,
And so we could use that as the example.
okay,
And
so,
just copy it, you know, in terms of sections and lists of duties.
all right, I think what we need to do though is, as a cohesive group, maybe, sit down with the employees and say, okay, this is how we would like to format it. You
Yeah.
have given us the information that
Yeah.
needs to be formatted. Is this to your approval? Will enough information be able to fit on this particular format?
Oh,
That-
you could make it 10 pages long.
Okay, then as long as, because we have fewer people
Yeah.
doing numerous things, simply because we're a small town.
Right.
We only have 2 in this office full-time. So the point is, a lot falls on her, a lot
Right.
falls on Marcy, which does not in other town
And that is why I
offices.
wanted to go to an outside contractor to do it.
Right.
Because we use an outside contractor for so many things, just to save time and money. And sometimes in the long run, it's cheaper to go with an outside contractor.
We're being paid already.
Well,
And
yeah,
so are the employees.
yeah. And Alissa, I guess you got a lot of free time on your hands to do this, right?
Mine's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is,
But not the formatting.
Yeah, the formatting is copy and cut pasting.
Well,
which we can do, which Marcy probably can do
All right.
also.
I thought that's what part of your platform for getting elected. Was that what you were going to do?
Richard,
Am I wrong?
that's campaigning. This is governing.
Okay. So, all right, no more campaigning because it's all bullshit, right? If somebody runs on a platform, he needs to stick at least a little bit to it. And we all know that these guidelines or whatever you formats are available online everywhere.
Mhm.
So you can look at another towns of the same size. $170 an hour I thought was a little pricey. I didn't say nothing, but I'm kind of glad that.
What?
might be
Well,
changed.
Let me
I
ask
think-
you this. What if, instead of $170 an hour, all we had was the bottom line of 1,100 and something?
I don't know where you are
Yep.
in your budget,
We'll make it. We'll come in under budget for the year.
but I'm just saying.
Unless some
this
meteor
is-
hits or something.
To farm everything out in a town of this size is, I think, a little bit silly. Technical things like computer programs and stuff is different.
Yeah.
Not everybody's up on that, and I'm certainly not up on
All
it,
right.
but.
Well, in this case, what we're talking about is something that's just for somebody who doesn't do this on a full-time basis. I'm talking about human resources stuff. It's time intensive. Whereas Paula could take these things and put these together in 45 minutes.
So
It would take me 2 hours.
What is the disagreement now?
Well, after we signed the contract, the section chiefs complained that we shouldn't have to do that $1,100 was too much to spend. But we pay, I don't know how much we pay to Carol Ogilvy to act as a consultant to the planning board and to handle things because she's a professional, and that relieves the planning board from having to spend a lot of time doing things that she already knows how to do. We hire computer people. We hire several other instances in town where we hire people to do things instead of doing it ourselves. Because it is a small town, we don't have very many full-time employees, we don't have very many part-time employees, and we don't have very many volunteers.
And
We can't staff our committees.
And the employees we do have are inundated with the work that they already
Yeah.
have.
So this was a way of having somebody outside take care of all this for us.
Well, I didn't say a word when you had your meeting and signed the contract. I figured you guys had figured it out, but obviously somebody disagrees.
Well, nobody disagreed before we signed the contract.
I didn't know about it until the night I was here and you had the
And,
contract.
and yet we discussed it. We didn't discuss the actual contract, but we discussed the need to do this. We've been talking about job descriptions for a long time. We talked about inviting Paula to come in and talk with us. And everybody knew she was an outside contractor, that she's not going to do it for free. And when she came in, we talked about it. And to me, it seemed like a reasonable amount of money to spend on that job.
Well, it's, I agree with Barbara, not very often, but in this case, I,
Well, how about that?
well, one thing I'm guilty of is honesty, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Alan, so Curtis, what do you think we should do?
I was with hiring the outside contractor just because of the inundated with all the work.
Okay?
Guys, you can get
I
a
mean,
chair.
I started going through this and then I realized it was outside my scope. And I didn't have the time to actually sit down with everyone because one, the town hall's not even open on Fridays. That's my day off that I have for March. So.
Well, you're more than welcome to come in.
But nobody's gonna be here. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
And sit down and do all this
So
stuff.
you would be in favor of continuing with the contract?
I would. Yeah.
All right. Barbara,
No,
you think
no,
we should
I
not?
think, no, I think as a consortium,
Yeah.
with the employees for as upset as they are, just to keep morale well, I think we can do this. They put together all the information we need.
All right.
All we have to do is format it.
So you're not at all uncomfortable with canceling a contract we've already signed?
I didn't sign it, you did.
I thought you signed it too.
If-
No, only
Well,
you.
Or
only
even
because
if
there was
we
only
can
one
get out of
signature
that.
space on the form.
Or even if we can get out of that contract.
Yeah, well, you didn't sign the contract, but we voted to
Right.
approve it. So I signed it on behalf of you.
Oh, no.
All right.
If there's no penalty, then
Well, what,
Well, the penalty
why would
is,
there be a
here's the penalty. We gave our word. When you sign a contract, you're giving your word. The fact that we can get out of a contract, if we can get out of a contract and it doesn't cost us anything, that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
It also doesn't mean it's the right thing to do is spend money that we don't need to spend for something we don't need to do.
Then people should have spoken up before we signed it, and they didn't.
Well, I, for one, wasn't aware of it. I would have spoken up because,
We
you're
discussed
not
it.
the only one. I wasn't aware of it either.
Well, we
until
just-
I was sitting here.
We discussed it at length that evening, and prior to that, we discussed it in part at several meetings. This is an ongoing thing. The meetings are open to the public, you're welcome to attend every one, and you elect a select board to make these decisions on your behalf. There's nothing in the statutes that says that the select board has to always do things the way you would have done them.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
It's obvious the most casual observer.
yeah.
Okay, now if I'm taking this project on, if you actually do cancel this and want me to take this on, are we putting a time limit on it?
Probably.
Like,
I don't know what that would be yet, and I wouldn't even want to discuss it until we know what we're gonna do.
okay,
So we'll table that until next week. So I'll be meeting with Paula and with the section chiefs tomorrow. You've contacted them all, and they're gonna bring those forms with them, right?
The ones that they have, yes,
Okay. And do you have any?
yes.
All right. So we need, if we do nothing else tomorrow, we have to account for all of the forms that Paula brought in.
That might be hard, but yeah.
Well, if we don't, okay, I can guarantee you this, if we can't account for all those forms, we're going forward with the contract. There's no way we're gonna have a contract and not return those proprietary forms.
and,
Right.
okay, I have a question, how
Yes.
are they proprietary?
They designed them for the use in their business.
You're sure they're not out there anywhere else?
I'm sure that parts of them are available. I'm sure everything on those forms is available out there somewhere. But they assembled it into a particular form to use in their business. That's their property. Did they copyright them or trademark them? I don't know. But I'm not at all comfortable backing out of a contract that we signed. But Paul, we'll talk tomorrow. We'll see how the section chiefs feel about it. We'll see how Paula feels about it. If she says that we can get out of it, that'll make the decision easier.
Okay, and why could we not get out of it?
Because she would say no.
On what ground?
On the
Sign
fact
a
that they want.
contract.
Hang on a second. On the grounds that we signed a contract and we are obligated to proceed.
But you can cancel. It's noted on the contract that you
Yes.
can cancel.
That refers to an ongoing contract where you pay. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you own a small company. You can't afford to have an HR person. So you hire Paula's company to handle all those things for you. That's employment, interviews, and maintaining personnel records. And you pay a fee, say $500 a month. After a couple of years, you decide that you don't want to do that anymore. So you call her and say, Paula, we're canceling. You give her 30 days. That means you still owe her for one more month. That's what that refers to. Most of their clients are long-term. What we're doing is a one-shot deal. Just come in, perform one task, and leave. So there is no 30-day. It's not an ongoing contract. There's nothing to cancel. We signed a contract to do one specific task.
One set fee.
Say again, please.
One set fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already knew what
So
the cost
you-
was going to
So
be.
if we try to use that clause and say, okay, we're giving you 30 days notice that we're going to discontinue the contract, she'll say, fine, give me the $1,100 and I'm out of here.
Okay, so you'll be the only one here representing us.
Otherwise
It's
it's
a
a
meeting
quorum.
and there'll be a
yeah,
quorum.
which we could do, but then we have to 91A notice it, take minutes, and we have to do it on a Friday or at night so that Curtis can be there.
Well, and it also would be past the 30 days, which apparently means nothing, but okay.
Yeah.
Mhm, fine.
All right, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But since I know where each of you stand on it, that means I'm the tie-breaking vote here.
That's right.
All right, forensic audit, that letter went out?
Mhm.
It did, okay. That's the letter to the county attorney asking them to further investigate the stuff with Cindy. Fundraiser, any further word on that?
No.
Troy Redevelopment Group, anything on that?
I haven't heard anything, no.
West Hill Road complaint, October 12th deadline, I took a drive by there, the motorhome is gone, and the trash is off the ground and in a dumpster. So that situation seems to be coming under control. Central Square complaint, deadline is October 1st, doesn't look like anything's been done there. Amnesty Day, October 13 and 14, Barb, anything on that?
No, the Troy Town News isn't out yet, but we're all set to go, so everything is
Okay,
gone in.
I had to reformat the coupon. Just because the way it fit on the back page, which is
Right.
a designated
Makes
page.
no difference.
But it's right there, so it's right there on your Selectman's
Yeah.
corner page.
Okay,
Barb made me do that.
yes, I did.
Oh, it was fine, well, it was kind of fine. It would be better to, if you do it again, to do it in Word rather than Excel.
Okay,
Just because of I had to adjust it a little that way.
sorry
But-
about that.
But, and that's okay, but
For
then
the-
again, when it came time to actually
Right.
do the layout,
Yeah.
it had to go 1 inch, full
Sideways.
page.
Right.
Yeah,
So in the future, what I'll try and do is not have a coupon.
there you go.
Well, let's hope this is a,
Or do a text box in Word.
Yeah.
That's easier.
Okay,
yeah, but we're hoping this is a once and
Yeah.
Yeah.
done.
All right.
This-
okay, we have the public hearing coming up on October 10th for the Giorgiani Trust Fund.
So,
And has that gone in the,
can
sorry?
you approve what I wrote to post in the paper? It's in that front of that folder.
I have,
All right, I'll read it aloud. Notice of public hearing, Giorgiani Trust Funds, Tuesday, October 10th, 2017 at 7 p.m., Samuel E. Paul Community Center. The Troy Selectmen hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 10th at 7 p.m. at the Samuel E. Paul Community Center, 61 South Street, Troy, New Hampshire. The purpose of this public hearing is to discuss the investment of the Giorgiani Trust Funds. Interested persons are invited to attend and comment. Anyone wishing to submit written comments prior to the hearing should address them to the Troy Board of Selectmen, 16 Central Square, P.O. Box 249, Troy, New Hampshire, no later than 5 business days in advance of the hearing. Please contact the Selectman's office or Relay New Hampshire TDD 5 days in advance if you have a disability and need assistance to attend or participate in the hearing. Looks good to me. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay?
It's fine.
Run with it. Okay, do we have any other information bearing on that hearing?
No.
Nope, okay, good. Boston Kane, we've signed the certificate, and that'll be on, that's gonna be on Saturday?
mm-hmm,
What's the date?
7th of October.
October 7th at 2 p.m. on the Common. We'll make the presentation.
The 3 of you will have to be present.
Right.
Is that gonna work for you, Curtis?
Could I ask that you include Bob Hall in on that, because he worked hard to keep the Boston Post clean.
Okay.
You know,
Alissa, you'll contact her?
Bob Hall, you wanna give me the number? I don't have this.
do you know that off the top of your head?
I've got his number here, I think.
I know it's like Gary's, but I can't remember yours either.
October 7th.
Alissa, there's the number. I got everybody's number in here. People I never heard of are in here.
Yeah, I should be able to make that.
Okay.
We got the community breakfast that morning, so
Right.
I'll just be cleaning up, so I'll just,
Yeah, well, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, it's
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well,
sometimes we go that late cleaning up.
Well, now you have an excuse to get out of it,
yeah, but if it rains, we're gonna be there, so you'll have to clean up quicker.
or clean up while we're doing it.
There you go.
Okay, Troy Mills parking lot, have we heard from him? No, okay.
No.
Hakala abatement, all right.
Oh, here
should-
we go. Here it is
All
right
right.
here.
I've signed it, Curtis has signed it, Barbara, you have some reluctance to sign this. let's just talk about what this says. This concerns a home, there was a fire, the garage, porch, and deck were destroyed by fire, the main house is still standing. So they've asked for an abatement on their taxes. We figured out the value of the destroyed portion of the property, figured out the percentage of the tax year that it was not standing, and computed an abatement of $400.73. Is there a particular reason why you would not like to sign this, Barbara?
Yes, but you convinced me otherwise. The main reason I mean, a lot of people have their homes burned. I had never heard of this happening, ever, that a town would abate taxes once your home burned. I could see maybe if it was completely destroyed, as Granite Street was. But they only lost their breezeway and their garage. They still own the home.
Yes, but the breezeway and the garage and the deck are included in the assessment.
Correct, they are. But,
They're gone, they're not there anymore.
all right, you convinced me a while ago.
Okay,
All right, so I will sign it, but
Thank you.
I don't think we should.
We've had your official meeting, so you're all set.
Yeah, that's about it.
all right, that concludes old business. We'll postpone new business until later. Start working on the budget. And the first up is Historical Society in Kimball Hall. So we have,
Do you want me to do this? What do you want me to do? Pass them out?
what do you have there?
I gave her,
Okay, all right, so we have Kathy Murat and Lynn Smith here from Historical, and
okay.
Gary and Richard.
Gary Phelps is here.
And don't
And
forget me.
Richard.
Richard
Oh,
Wright.
Richard, well, you're here so often, I just figured you were here for the meeting.
If you guys want to grab some more chairs out in the hallway there, you guys can bring them in.
That's all right.
It's up to you.
Okay, let's take a look at this budget. Now, just by way of review, for the Historical Society, last year the budget was $500. And that's what you spent. And so this year you're asking for $550. Looks like an increase in office supplies from $150 to $200.
Primarily because the cost of toner is going up,
Okay.
has gone up, you know. So it's gonna cost us more.
Okay. Barb, any questions?
No, I think
Curtis,
that's
any questions
fair.
about their budget for the Historical Society?
No?
Okay. Then I move that we recommend a budget of $550 for the Historical Society.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
So the Selectmen's recommended budget for the Historical Society will be $550. Let's look at Kimball Hall. It was $5,995 budgeted for 2017, and you're asking for an additional $700 for the coming year. Is that right? And it looks like that money is an extra $50 in electricity, an extra $300 for heating oil, an extra $50 for property insurance, and then two new items, snow removal and mowing of $200 and an alarm system for $200.
Well, those are the two we're not sure of.
Okay.
Is the snow removal and the mowing come out of maintenance? Would that come out of maintenance rather than adding?
Who's been doing it?
Helping Hand had been paying for the snow removal.
Okay.
Nobody's been mowing.
Is Helping Hand still storing stuff there?
No, they will be out, they're supposed to be out October 1st.
Well, it's a
Okay.
town building.
Yeah.
That should fall underneath.
Well, that was part of the question.
Who's been mowing it? I'm sorry, who's been
Nobody.
plowing it?
I think Southwestern takes care of the parking lots.
Right.
Because they have use as part of that parking lot on the other
Southwestern
side of the
does.
building and all of the.
All right, so they're plowing it.
Yeah.
And
Our concern is the walkway and the porch
okay.
needs to be,
In the back.
and the back steps, yeah, it needs
All
to
right.
be dealt with.
Okay, do you have to, like, for example, if we had Lawrence, what's his name, Jason?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Yeah, he does all of our shoveling, including the rec center.
And the library.
Community center.
Community center.
Thanks for catching that, I didn't. I'll tell you, I was slow tonight.
Can we not just include them?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, that's what we
Well,
wondered.
it's supposed to be.
So instead of
included
asking
if
for
it's a
the money
town
to do
building.
it, just ask to
Right,
have it
just
done.
ask Jason to do it.
Well,
Just
still-
add them to the list.
Still be built into their budget.
Well, right now, does that get built into the various budgets for the various buildings?
Yes, he
Okay.
bills us,
All right,
Per building.
yes.
yeah, all right. So that does belong in there.
But what we would need to do is find out approximately what that would cost before we automatically put 200 into the budget.
Well, that's what they were asking right now. What would that be?
The side of the building and the little bit on the left, and then there's a little bit where to the outside of the garden that would need to be mowed.
Oh, now we're talking about mowing.
Well, that's part of it, mowing
Yeah,
and
it's a
plowing.
mowing thing, yeah.
I can ask Jimmy what he thinks. I know. Give me a call tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we should table the 200. Wonder if he says 300.
Well, that's
All
the
right,
question.
then let's do this.
What?
How about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
Okay. How about if we tentatively approve this amount, subject to Alissa contacting Jimmy tomorrow to find out what it should be, and then she can plug in the appropriate number.
Well, I'm wondering if that would come out of maintenance and building repair.
Right, if it should
No,
be a
rather
separate
than
item,
add,
or
yeah.
should it just be added
The
in?
top line, okay.
It's usually under labor
Yeah.
contract
Well,
services.
So it's a separate item. Okay.
Well, one thing that I would like to talk about, though, is the amount of money that you've spent so far this year. Your budget for this year was $59.95 total. You spent $24.40, or about 40% of it. And the building maintenance and repair, you had $1,700. You spent $260.
We're not done yet.
Okay.
We have an electrician that's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, electrical work.
All right. On your electric bill, you're about 52%, and we're 3/4 of the way through the year. So I think maybe we have over budgeted on electricity, and maybe don't need an increase on that line.
Okay.
That makes sense, that's fine, yep,
All right.
Okay, so
So we'll cut-
electricity would go back to 850.
yep.
All right.
Okay.
What about heating oil?
Heating oil. It depends on where your tank is right now. You've spent approximately 50%. But how big a tank do you have?
Small.
275?
I don't think it's a 275. It's in a separate enclosure,
Yeah.
so you can't really see it.
Okay.
You have to have a key.
Well, I suspect you'll probably use a good portion of this before the year is out, as soon as the weather gets a little colder.
So leave that increase?
But you're asking for an increase here. I would cut that back to 2,200.
Well, you don't know.
Well, what was last year's cost per gallon that we had?
It was 179 and we're locking in 199.
So maybe we should keep that then, because we're locking in at a higher rate for
All
this
right.
year.
All right, so we'll do that at 2,500.
Plus, we had a fairly mild winter last year.
Okay.
And property insurance, is that something that normally goes up every year? We kind of assumed it did, but,
Yeah, and that line, I think, is one of those that, regardless of what we put in the budget, that's going to get adjusted whenever we get the actual bill.
okay, so leave that where it is.
Yeah,
So back to 450 or 500?
No,
let's leave it at 500.
Yeah.
Again, that whatever number we plug in there doesn't mean anything, because as soon as we find out how much it's going to be,
That's what
the
it is.
budgets for every building in town get
I
adjusted.
know when the Historical Society was paying the insurance, it never went down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Always crawl up a little.
Yeah, a little, sometimes a lot.
Okay.
now our understanding is that the building is going to get an alarm system, is that correct? That it's gonna be tied into some kind of an alarm system?
That would be David.
That's the first I've heard.
David would be the one.
Well, it
Ellis.
was mentioned by the electrician, and it was also mentioned by the fire chief. And somebody was supposed to contact Amer, who was in charge of alarm systems. And,
Because that all is plugged into the police department, all the alarm
Okay.
systems.
right,
Yeah, I haven't heard a word about it.
Me neither.
So I would recommend, let's leave that in here.
I will find
Yeah.
out
Find
tomorrow.
out what's happening with
And,
that.
and again, if it turns out this is wrong, we can always cut that back when you go to the budget committee.
How much was in there for that?
200.
200.
Well, we didn't know, had no
I
idea
think with
what it's gonna cost to install it and if there's gonna be a monthly or a yearly charge.
There was a yearly charge. I think that,
What's, do you know what that is?
I know the Cheshire Railroad Depot is like $360 something a year.
A year,
okay, that's probably gonna be similar to ours.
yeah.
Probably
Yeah, well, it would,
under
no, it
budget.
would be the same thing.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just leave that at the 200. And again, we'll find out what it should be and we'll fix it before you go to budget committee. So the bottom line here is going to change to 6645
Right.
because we took 500 out of electricity.
No, 50.
I'm sorry, 50, yeah. Sorry about that.
500, they'd be in the dark half the year.
Yeah, like us.
Yes.
Okay, that should do it. Do you have any questions of us?
No, we have to vote on this, though, or are we not going to just table it until we get firm figures?
Yeah, I don't think we have anything to vote
Okay.
on yet. We
All
can
right.
just do it next week after we get the
All right.
figures. Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
Not a question, but,
Not a budget question.
not, yeah, not a
Okay.
question. We'd like to put an article on the warrant to requesting the money that Helping Hand had put aside for the renovation of Kimball Hall, which I think probably is up to 1,500 now.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Well, you don't need our permission to
Oh,
put
I
in a
thought
warrant
we
article.
had to get
No,
permission.
if you want to put in a warrant article, you put in a
Well,
warrant.
wait, well, there's two ways to do a warrant article. One is the petition warrant article where you get 25 signatures or something like that. I think what you're asking is, will you write it and will we submit it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we will. Do you agree with that,
Yes,
Curtis?
absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You wanna ask about.
And then the other thing, we would like help from the town employees when we finally move the showcases and stuff from upstairs to downstairs in the new room. And that would be, what do you think, October, end of October?
End of October, first part of November, because we're hoping to reopen the
Okay.
first weekend.
Well, you're looking for labor.
Well,
And
also
equipment,
equipment, because,
like the loader.
yeah.
There are things that apparently went upstairs by loader through the window.
Ah, okay.
And will probably need
Come
to
down the
come
same way.
down the same way.
All right,
So,
all right. Alyssa, would you well, you're gonna talk to Jimmy anyway. Would you bring this up as well?
We will.
All right.
okay.
And then Jimmy can coordinate directly with you to work it out.
Okay.
Also, if you need extra hands, let me know, because we do have some people in town that need community service.
Oh, we
Right.
absolutely will.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of the Historical Society?
No.
Okay.
After November 1st, I'll be able to help. I'll be on military from the 11th to the 1st, so.
Okay,
But after the 1st, I can help if you let me know.
yeah, excellent.
Going to Texas.
Texas. For Hood.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you done? We're done?
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, David's next, but we'll let the transition happen here. I was gonna say, we could take Mr. Rose or not?
Sure.
See something is what
Why don't we do that? We'll skip ahead here and, so you're certainly welcome to stay here all evening and listen to everything. But we won't put you in a position where you have to, okay?
Well, first of all, as always, thank you for your time tonight. I have two items that I had put on the agenda for discussion that I wanted to ask about.
Okay.
So the first one is back on the 11th, I came before the board regarding the 30-day notice about the shed. During that meeting, I had requested, what our next steps were to be. And I was told that I would be contacted by someone from the zoning board of adjustments to schedule a meeting. At this point, which we're now 3 weeks later, I still have not been
Okay.
contacted. And upon further review, it was my understanding, I was told when we left here last time, that again somebody would be contacting me. There was nothing else that I needed to do. But apparently there is a form that I have to fill out that has to be submitted, which I have since done. However, I think that kind of should have been.
Yeah, should have. And you know, part of it is that we're not used to doing this. So we're kind of learning this as we go along.
Certainly, I understand that. So at this point, we are approaching the second 30-day
Okay.
extension that I received. Again, at this point, as of today, the 25th, I haven't been contacted by the ZBA yet.
Okay.
So I guess at this point, we need to do an extension of that.
Okay. Before we do that, Alissa, have you had luck reaching Jody?
No, I did.
Oh,
I
you
talked
did?
to her
Okay.
today.
Okay.
Okay, and she is coming in tomorrow morning to pick everything up. And I helped Mr. Rose. I filled out the abutters. And he filled out the application, but we have to change something on the application. So I will need to call her tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay, and tell her she cannot have this
Yeah.
tomorrow morning. Right.
Okay.
We will correct on it what needs to be corrected.
Okay.
So, and then I told her she needs to review it, not during the meeting. She needs to review what we're doing,
Right.
what we filled out ahead of time, and if corrections need to be made, we will take care of the corrections. So at the meeting, they are good to go and there
Yes.
is no other delay. But he does need an additional extension
Right.
because he has reached his point of,
Is there a motion on the table?
there is a motion on the table to give Mr. Rose an extension of 30 days.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 What is it that we need to
Okay,
correct on that? if I
this
may
is
ask?
the original,
Mhm.
all right? And I brought yours and I brought mine.
Mhm.
And when I was looking, when Marcy and we checked each other's work today,
Mhm.
on the first page, I don't know where you got these, but your map 32, your lot 8D. So where
I
you
got
got
that
lot
from-
4, I don't know what that is. Okay, if you look out here at our maps,
That's Cheshire County. It says on there.
yeah, this isn't correct. This is the information you need. According to our records out there, you can look before you leave.
Okay, that's
You-
fine. I'm just showing it.
You're
That's
talking about
got
the
it.
tax maps?
Yes, at
All
our
right.
maps.
What does the database say?
Map 32, we went to the warrant. I looked it up in the warrant.
Okay.
Okay, and he is map 32, lot 8D.
Okay.
And that coordinates with our maps out here.
But
So
it
the
doesn't match
warrant-
this?
No,
That's
And that came from
Cheshire
county?
County
Yeah.
Registry of Deeds.
yeah, so there's a problem.
All right. Well, that's a separate issue.
Yeah, Alyssa was.
Oh, certainly, absolutely. Sorry.
So that is the only thing you need to change, and I put everybody on here. I talked to her about who the abutters were and why they were abutters, and what we do is take out the road, from what I understand now. You take out the road and the people that abut the property on either side, and across the street, I'm in the middle, and each neighbor on either side. Okay?
Okay.
They're all on there for you.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're absolutely welcome. So that's yours.
Okay.
And then after you correct it, Will, if you want to bring it back to me, I will call Jody and let her know that it's in the folder and she's to come in and pick it up and we can move forward.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. I can. I'll
Okay.
correct that tomorrow and drop that off to you.
Okay. All right.
I'm concerned that the county has different map and lot number than we have.
Well, mine must be incorrect then too. I bet everybody's is.
Yeah.
Well, everybody on that side of the street is.
Well,
That's not the
for
same.
for
as-
purposes of what we're doing here, though,
Oh, 1987, I didn't look at the date on
For
it.
purposes of what we're doing here, it doesn't matter.
No, we're good.
Yeah, okay.
We're good. Our warrant article is correct and our map and
Okay,
that
and the database.
information is correct.
Okay. Is that the KRT database we're talking about?
Vision.
Vision, I'm sorry, okay. If the
Well,
Vision database
can you write down your
shows
phone number on the
the
bottom
same
of
thing the
this?
tax map does, right? Okay.
I don't want to put it on the minutes, but
There you go, sir.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, you had another item on your...
Yes, sir.
first
So, so because of all of this, that I'm trying to become a little more familiar with the ordinances, all of the kind of government things in the town, which I understand I should have probably been up on before this, but now taking the chance, now I've had the onus. So my question is that what I wanted to bring up is that I certainly understand the meaning, the reason behind having setbacks in the town. It certainly is a common sense thing to stop people from encroaching on the right of way, encroaching on their neighbors on each side, and just generally keeping up the rural look of the town rather than having structures right on the side of the road. And things that are just make it look crowded, congested. We don't want that look in the town. We want to maintain that country feel. So that certainly setbacks absolutely make sense to me. I guess my question arises that we do have one setback for the village district, which is 20 feet. Certainly that makes sense to have it about that because they're in the village, so you want to have there's not as much land there available as there is kind of in a more country setting. However, once you move out of the village, it jumps from 20 feet, which personally I think 20 feet is certainly a reasonable number, but then it almost doubles for the rest of the town. It goes from 20 to 35. That's almost double. I don't understand, and I'm just questioning the wisdom of that amount. I know that at this point it's written, and I need to deal with what I'm dealing with, and whether that gets changed or not later on has no effect on my situation. I understand that, so it's not a matter of me trying to circumvent the law. But it's just a question of why is it that it jumps such a significant amount?
The answer is, I don't know, and I don't think any of us know. That goes back to the original zoning regulation, which was written when? It was 1970 something?
I think so.
Yeah. And the planning board writes the zoning reg. It then gets approved at town, at voting. We say town meeting, but actually, when you vote on Tuesday, that's considered part of town meeting.
Right.
So the voters approved it. Now, the thought process behind those numbers, I have no idea.
Well, I guess my only question is that I know that just listening through the minutes and the recordings that we are revisiting some of the old ordinances and updating them.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if this might be something that we would want to maybe revisit.
Not in this office. So the statutes, the ordinances that we're looking at are ones that over which we have some control. That one we don't. That's written and amended by the zoning board, or rather it's proposed by the planning board. And then it's adjustments to it, amendments to it are proposed by the planning board. And then they show up as Article 2 on the warrant. And on election day when you vote for candidates, you also vote on the zoning ordinances. This office has nothing to do with it other than including them on the warrant.
Okay, so what would be the steps to get that reviewed?
I'd take it to the planning board.
Well, what the committee that John and I and he is getting other people to be on are taking a look at all the town ordinances and all the zoning ordinances. So when this committee is actually formed and they start to have meetings, they will be posted. And I think that would be the perfect place for him to present this information.
Actually, I think the perfect place would be not by attending that meeting, but by being a member of that committee.
And that would be welcome also.
Sorry, we're always recruiting.
So, but it's up to you. That,
What committee would that would be the one that,
It doesn't even have a name yet.
no,
Okay.
this is brand new.
This is it'll be an ad hoc committee to just review all of the town ordinances and avoid duplications and plug in holes.
And make things more recent to today's
Yeah.
standards, and put in some additional things that need to be put in. It probably would be a great committee. You might really enjoy it. You could always join,
You will enjoy it.
and if you don't
you
like
want
it,
to
you
or not.
can leave.
that's right, that's right.
But it would give you good insight on how we do things and, you know, what takes place. But this is going to be a very long-standing process.
Yes.
This will go on for quite some time. It's not going to be quick. In fact, I just started going through our town ordinances to rescind 3 from the 70s that we're going to look at tonight. So it's up to you.
So that
It's
was,
food for thought.
so that's the committee that you're speaking about, that,
Oh, right, and
Okay.
it's really not a formally
Not
formed
official. Yeah.
committee yet.
Okay.
It's just in the inception process,
okay.
okay?
Well, I would be very interested in joining that committee,
Good.
and
Thank you.
I would be more than happy to help out in any way that I can.
We love it. So it's right,
Barbara is the select board representative to that committee.
and there is John Collins, there's the 2 of us right now.
He's on the planning board and the ZBA.
Right, right, he's on both those boards. So, very versed in what we will be talking about. I am not, so it'll be a learning experience for me also.
Sure, absolutely. No, I mean, that sounds very interesting, and I mean, if anybody feels I could be of assistance with that, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, as soon as we're formally formed, I'll send the pigeon across the street and let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, those are my pigeons.
Okay, so that is all that I have. I appreciate your time as always,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
No
Thank
problem.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for coming in, guys. And wait, you forgot some of your stuff. Well,
you. Oh, yep. Thought that was.
there's so
I
much
thought that
stuff
felt
on the
light.
table. Okay, I guess David's next.
Okay, yeah, Cheshire Railroad Depot.
If I might, also offer, I know there's been some discussion about the situation with the job descriptions. I have quite a bit of experience in that field, and if you need my assistance or if I could be of any help, I'd be more than happy to help out with that,
Thank you, appreciate that.
certainly.
And I certainly will pick you up on that.
Yeah, if we don't go with the contract, Barbara owns it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can we turn the air on for a minute?
I was gonna say, I was.
No, Barbara, no. She's
You
ready
ready
to go.
now?
Oh. It was a second. Thanks, David.
Okay, just looking over the budget, the first thing I notice is that the amount you're asking for next year is less than this year.
Yep.
So it looks like we're cutting advertising down to 0
Yep.
from 300. Building maintenance and repair reducing from 750 down to 500.
Yeah, didn't use any, so.
Yeah, electricity stays the same.
Yeah.
General supplies reduced by 100. Labor contracted services cut back from 2,500 down to 1,000 because we didn't do much with that this year. Property insurance going up slightly.
Yeah, because I noticed we put 180 and it was 196, so I went to 250 just
Yeah.
in case of the
Okay.
another increase.
And again, like we said with the Kimball Hall, that's something that's going to end up getting adjusted in the budget anyway when we find out what the actual figure is.
Mhm.
Okay, postage reducing to 25 from 50. Recharge fire extinguishers staying at 50. And surveillance system staying at 950 for a total of 3625, down from last year's budget of 5730. Okay, Barbara, any questions?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Curtis?
No, not at this time.
Okay. I move that we recommend the Railroad Depot budget of $3,625 for 2018.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That'll be our recommended budget. Dave, while you're here, who is the chair of the committee? Are you the chair now?
Yeah, for now.
Okay. Who else is on the committee? I want to update the website.
I have no idea.
All right. Could you send me that information? Send me an email or?
Sent me any of that information, so
All right.
I can find out and yeah, get it to you. 'cause-
Okay. I just want to keep the website up to date.
Yeah.
And I know that I still have Stan listed on there as the chair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Wow, that was an easy one.
Troy Fest is next.
Pass that down to Curtis, please.
Thank you.
Here's- Yes, I have one for you. I had one for Alissa, but
Okay. Just looking at the bottom line, you're requesting the same amount for 2018
exactly.
as we had, and it looks like the spending was right on target. We've spent 83.29% of the budget so far this year,
Correct.
and we still have another event coming up.
Our big event of the year.
Yep.
We're here too early. So what I did was I broke it down
Yeah.
on page 2, our approximate upcoming expenses at the bottom of the page for the event.
Okay.
Okay, and everything is in there. The band is firm, the pony rides are firm, restrooms are firm. So it's supplies and the town Christmas decorations, which we purchase every year.
Okay.
Those aren't firm.
All right. If we spend that total of 1605
Correct.
on top of what we've already spent, your total expenditures for the year will be 6353, which puts you over budget by $600.
Oh, well, we will not go over budget. You're looking at, the second page
Yeah.
is our revolving account.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, the first page is our budget account.
All right.
All right, you're looking at 2 different accounts here.
Okay.
We would never go over budget.
All right. So right now, in terms of the budget, the operating budget, the amount spent is $4,748.20.
All right, we have, yes.
Will anything else
We
be?
have $952.80 in that account right now. We will
Right.
be taking a couple of items out of this account.
Okay.
Okay, whether it be the pony rides or
Right.
one of the big ticket
Okay.
items, will come out of this account. The $350.12 is for flags. That is not ours. That's Jimmy's.
Okay.
Because remember last year, patriotic purpose moved
Yeah.
over to us.
Yeah.
So all that money is not ours. So
Okay.
we have to keep track.
All right. How much you got in the 2220 account?
At this moment,
Yeah.
we have $2,282.67.
It's not a 2220 account.
What
It's
is
a
it?
It's a
2020.
revolving account.
Yeah.
What's the
that's-
difference?
It has its
None.
own checking account.
I'm sorry?
Its own checking account.
Okay.
Whereas the 2220 accounts are in the general fund.
We're not in the general
Okay.
fund.
All right. Gotcha. Thank you.
We write checks.
I'll learn this stuff eventually.
Okay.
Okay. I move that we approve the Festival Committee budget for 2018 for $5,701, same as last year. Curtis, would you like to second it?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
you.
carries.
Thank you.
Point out that Barbara did not vote on that. because
No,
her
I recuse myself.
Conflict of interest.
Correct.
Okay. Back to the agenda. New business. Mike Walsh zoning letter. Let's see what that is. Okay. Mike asked for a special exception from the ZBA. And this is a letter from Jody back to Mike. Let me just read what she is writing to Michael. Dear Mr. Walsh, after review of your special exception submittal, I have found your application is incomplete and was filed on the incorrect application. You will need to call Alissa Fox and ask to be put on the Selectmen's agenda for one of their upcoming meetings. At that meeting, explain your proposal and ask any questions regarding locating a right-of-way to the backland on the property located at 133 Tolman Road, since one does not exist currently. The Board of Adjustment is an appeals board, which means that you must be denied an application from another board or department of the town and then appeal that decision to the Board of Adjustment on the appropriate application forms and pay the required fees. You should accompany the application with pictures and application setting forth the article and section you are requesting relief from and supporting documentation as to ownership of the trust which holds this land, as well as any other documentation you feel is pertinent in providing justification for the relief sought. So I don't believe Mike has ever come to us to ask to do this, right?
He hasn't.
No, and I'm the
So-
one, he came in,
Yeah.
and I'm the one that gave him the application, and he didn't tell me what it was for.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so I
He just
had,
asked for an application.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he knows now what has to be done, so
Yeah.
we'll just wait to hear from him.
Of course, we have to deny it because we require a 50-foot minimum
Or what?
for that.
I couldn't hear
We
you.
require a 50-foot minimum. He's asking for 40 feet, an
Okay.
exception to that.
All right, so that'll work, but he has to come here and get denied
Right,
first.
and get denied first.
Yeah, okay, that'll
Okay,
work.
then it goes to ZBA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, response from Primex on roller skating. That's in
Oh,
here
this-
somewhere.
Yeah,
This is from, we got this from Primex, but they referred it to their attorney. So this was your question about taking the skates over to Hinsdale. Here is what the lawyer at Primex has to say. Roller skating carries inherent risk. There is going to be some amount of increased risk the more the skates are used. There's also some added risk doing this in another location where there may not be as much control over who uses them, how they are used, or where they are used. That said, I can't tell if the added risks are significant enough to be dispositive. Most of the risk comes from the activity itself, which they are already doing. In other words, they didn't answer your question.
So,
well, they're kind of saying no.
well, they didn't really answer it because we wouldn't just be giving the skates over, we'd be actually providing skate guards as well. Because that's what we do here in Troy.
Skate guards?
Yes,
What
we
is-
make
what
sure.
is that?
I'm actually one of the skate guards, and so is
Oh, that's a
Francis
person.
Fournier.
That
Yeah.
sounded like a device on the skate.
No, it's a person who makes sure that people are not getting all rowdy. They're not smashing
Yeah.
into walls, punching or
Right.
pushing into other people. Everyone's
Yeah.
skating like they're supposed to.
I think that the lawyer for Primex didn't address the question.
So
The question was, do we have less
Coverage.
coverage if we go over to Hinsdale than we have here?
right.
And he just talked about whether it's safe or not. Would you get back with Amy at Primex and clarify the question? Are we covered if our rec department goes over there and rents out skates? Are people doing it?
And I did talk to the rec department. I did bring it up because we mentioned it that if the rec department wanted to go over there and that they said that they are more than willing to do it
Okay,
and to provide the skate guards and the people to
Okay.
hand them out and all that. So
all right. Yeah, that really didn't answer the question.
Aren't they bringing up, if I may, aren't they bringing up one thing about the added usage of the equipment, this basically the skates?
Well, they're addressing the safety, but that wasn't the question that we put to them.
But doesn't the increased liability come because you're using twice as much as you are?
It may,
And
but
if you don't, if, it would seem to me that if you don't have protocol in
Yeah.
place to check for safety on them, and then you rent them out and they go and cause an accident for somebody because the wheels fall off, then it seems like it might possibly come back.
We do have a protocol in place. In fact, I'm the one that inspects the skates. I've
Right.
done this back when I was in high school. I used to work for the same company that we used to rent from, Wensco Wheels Pro Skaters. And since then, I've been, every time we hand out skates or anything like that, I'm the one that goes through and checks them out and makes any adjustments if they need it.
But the question was,
Right.
if we take the skates to Hinsdale, does our insurance cover us? They didn't answer that question. Instead, they asked the lawyer about it. He just said, well, there's some dangers here, that, and that. Nobody answered the question, are we covered?
Mhm.
So that's what we need to get back with her. If we're not covered, we're not gonna do it, right?
Well, no,
Well, that
how
would
could we?
depend on what we decide, because if we're not covered,
Hinsdale might.
will Hinsdale be covered?
But they would have to
and-
put us as a named insured if they did that.
Right, we'd have to be an addendum to the
Well,
policy.
no, would it be that they could get the insurance for us to be covered?
Right, that's
Well,
what
yeah,
I'm
well,
saying.
the point is, we can't just go on their insurance, is what I meant.
Right.
Because what you run into there is, let's say that somebody does get hurt over there, and they sue the town of Hinsdale, and the Hinsdale Insurance Company pays off, that insurance company can then turn around and sue the town of Troy.
Right, we were just talking about that.
It's called
That's a long-
abrogation.
Yeah.
And
Subrogation.
so that's why, I'm sorry,
Subrogation.
okay. So, I know it was something rogation. So if they do that, does our insurance cover us? That's what we're looking for. If our insurance does not cover us in Hinsdale, but if Hinsdale's insurance lists us as a named insured, then we're covered.
Okay.
Because then their insurance company would pay off for us, as opposed to coming after us.
So how would we find it? We guess we have to get a hold of Hinsdale, find out if we are.
Well, let's start
I
at
know
the
we're not
beginning.
covered yet.
Right,
That would be something they would have to contact their insurance. First of all, let's find out if our insurance company covers it. If they do, we're all set.
Okay.
If Premix says no, then we would ask Hinsdale to contact their carrier to add us as a named insured on their policy.
Okay.
If their insurance company says no, then we don't do this. If their insurance company says yes, then if it makes financial sense to do it, we'll go ahead and do it.
Okay.
They may even have Primex.
Yeah.
Right. So. All right.
But even if they do,
They still have to list us as a,
we still run the danger that if we go over there and we're not covered in Troy and we're not covered in Hinsdale, we're on the hook. Right. Okay, so you'll get back to Amy at Primex on that? Great. Okay, Giorgiani public hearing approval.
you already did it.
Yeah, okay, all right. And Barbara, time to
Okay.
rescind ordinances.
okay. Okay, did you look them over? Curtis, did you look them over?
Yeah. I skimmed through them. Got 'em right here.
Okay, which one do you want to do first?
Section 41, Article 11. It's
All
the
right.
one you have in front of you.
Okay, this is the one that prohibits parking in front of the Baptist church for a distance of 50 feet, beginning 25 feet south of the north property line and extending south. No parking signs will be erected. Any violation is subject to a fine of $100. Why do you want to rescind that?
Why do we need it? We have police. Go.
See, that's the church down here.
Yeah.
There's not enough room for people to park.
Right, but why would, I have never seen anybody park in front of it,
That's because there's an ordinance that says you can't.
but
This one right here.
what
we're
about
talking
the, I know, but what about the bridges? We have one also that says you cannot park on the bridge overnight.
Right.
Why do we need that?
Because
Who
if you're parked on the
traffic-
bridge, you take up, there's no
Right, so why would
lane,
any,
what's that lane called? The
okay, pass
breakdown
that
lane.
Right. Well, the breakdown lane isn't large enough to put a vehicle and have two,
Not down here, that's why there's an ordinance that says you can't park there, that's why, because they used to park there. And if you put
Okay,
a car,
in-
where the
In
sidewalk is,
1970.
you take out half the travel lane northbound.
Well, I know, but isn't that a police issue? If you see why do we have to have an
It
ordinance?
has to be an ordinance that says you can't do it for us to enforce it. That's why there's no parking signs. If you take down the no parking signs, what am I gonna enforce? They can park there because
Well,
it doesn't say you have,
Why do we
can't.
have to have an ordinance to have a no parking
It's the
sign?
only way it's a violation. I can enforce, ordinances are so we can enforce, like write a parking ticket for $25 or whatever it is, $10.
But-
You need an ordinance.
Okay, so you're telling me that you want to keep the ordinance for the parking in front of the Baptist church?
Yeah, when I was here
So
back in-
that's a state road. Why do we have to have a town ordinance? You just can't say, I mean, they inhibit traffic. Isn't that in itself enough to tell them they cannot park there?
No, because if there's no signs there, people are not gonna know they can't park there, and then I can't enforce anything,
Well,
even on the state road.
Barbara, what are we
I don't
trying to
understand.
accomplish with rescinding this?
Yeah.
Well,
It sounds like you're
Because-
arguing against what you're proposing.
okay, what we are trying to do with this new committee
Right.
is eliminate any ordinance that is not valid.
I got
Because
that.
we are combining all of these.
But let's talk about this particular one,
Okay.
all right? Why would you want to stop the prohibition of parking in that location?
Well, simply because I thought, David, because it was a state road, if the room is not there, he had the
What can
legal
I do?
authority to say, okay, you
No,
cannot park
no.
here.
That would be like saying, if there was, you could park there, you're saying they are able to park there, because that's actually North Main Street also, so it's actually got a town name to it
Okay,
too.
but the point is, we do not have signs around the common saying you cannot
Yes,
park.
you do, yes, there is. You can park, you can't park on the inside of the common at all, there's signs all the way around the inside saying.
Not, we don't have an ordinance, do
It's in
we?
another ordinance. See, that's the problem. There's so many ordinances in this town, because what they do is at one selectmen's meeting, they'll take it and vote for it, and then another one, and all it is one piece of paper, and that's why you got so many ordinances
Okay.
that should
So
all
what
be
you need-
one.
Is to combine them
park
all.
them.
What you need is
Right. Yeah.
to have one ordinance that would cover all parking restrictions, just
But
list them
It's all
all.
spelled out in
Yep.
that one, and we have one of them.
But that should be, we do have one,
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure, I'm almost
So
positive
we
we
need to-
have one.
we need
I
to
don't
find
know
it
if
and review
that
it.
one's- But, and that's what I'll do,
Yeah.
but can I ask that committee check with, like if it's
Yes,
something to do with
absolutely.
enforcement and stuff, ask
Right.
me about it, because, like in this case, you'd have rescinded that, people would be parking on the road, and ain't nothing I can do
No,
about
I
it.
knew you would be here.
Oh, okay.
Barb,
But can-
Barb, what we
can I
need to
ask-
do, instead of rescinding any given ordinance, if it's going to be replaced by another one, we have to have the other one ready to go.
Right,
And-
exactly.
and-
So
and
we
so
won't be doing
We
any
need to,
of
on this
these.
particular one, let's find the parking ordinance that
I'll
lists.
pull that out, I got it in my
Okay.
book.
All right,
Okay.
and then we'll go over it and see if it's complete. There may be areas on that that we want to add to it or
Yeah.
delete from it.
And I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's in
And
there,
then-
and then we can rescind
Yeah,
that.
then we'll amend that one if it needs to be amended
Right.
and delete the ones that would duplicate it.
Okay, I have no problem
Because,
with
yeah,
that.
like, what year is that one?
72.
72.
Yeah, they're all
See,
so
and that's what
recent.
happened.
I mean,
We-
my
They
goodness.
actually did a lot of new ordinances that added things in together,
Mhm.
and all these old ones from, I think they go back, yeah, into the 70s and 60s, they never rescinded those.
Okay, can I read another one to you?
Oh, yeah.
Please?
Get me going. No.
Okay,
This is a great one. You're gonna love this one.
okay. 3 or more persons shall not stand in a group, nor near each other on any sidewalk, street, bridge, entrance to a public building, as to obstruct free passage of pedestrians, motor vehicles, or obstructing the sidewalk, the street, a bridge, entrance, shall move immediately after a request to move is made by any police officer. Okay, no person shall sit, stand, lounge in or about the doors or passageways to stores, churches, public parks, public playgrounds, public buildings, office, dwelling house, or apartment house. I didn't know we had dwelling houses, except the owner
You live in one.
or tenant thereof after being requested to depart therefrom by the owner, tenant, proprietor, or any police officer. There will be no loitering around the school district property or any town building, neither inside or on the adjacent premises or parking areas, nor on any bridge or bridge abutment or fences within the village area, either by persons standing, sitting in a motor vehicle engaged in official business or work in or on said premises. What do you think of that?
Make the fine $100.
I have a concern with it.
Okay,
It says 3 or more persons, right?
right,
So Curtis and I, that's only 2, we can go out and we can block any door we want. As long as you don't join us.
right.
Thing is, if you're on the sidewalk and you got, it's a little much that it's only, 3 people. I mean, I would like to get an ordinance, something to do with
Loitering.
protesting, that,
Okay,
you have
that's
to have a
something
permit.
completely different.
Well, in a way, I mean, it's stating about 3 people in a group. If there's people blocking a sidewalk, we can tell them to hit the road, and if they don't, we disorderly conduct. I mean, we have a state law for that. I don't care what you do with this one.
Okay.
Because that one almost punishes people that are on the common, on the sidewalk during a festival or
Festival,
like that.
so,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, now we get $100.
Yeah, so, I mean, this one.
Yeah, the festival committee can make a lot of money that way.
There you
Yeah.
go.
1973, so, yeah, I mean, that one, this one
On
I
the
don't
common.
mind.
Oh, wait, there's another one in there. Don't give that back so soon.
Well, I'll listen, I like listening to you read.
Okay.
What was the date? I can't even read that. That's 1973.
73, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real
There were some
recent.
badasses in town.
Yeah.
so we're all-
Troy Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we rescind that one, gentlemen? I would like to make a motion to rescind this ordinance.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
That ordinance is rescinded.
Okay.
Okay, an ordinance relative to regulation of the use of alcoholic beverages on public highways, sidewalks, and commons.
Which year is that one?
75.
75.
75, you can get rid of, we've got new one.
Yeah.
I mean, we have another one that's newer, which we use for open containers.
Is it adequate?
05 actually. Oh, yeah, 05.
Well, this one certainly is not adequate.
Move to
It was
rescind
that
this one.
year.
Okay, so I would
Second.
to make okay. I'm going to make a motion to rescind an ordinance relative to regulation of the use of alcoholic beverages on public highways, sidewalks, and commons.
Second.
Okay. Seconded by Curtis.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, parlaying is next, or parling.
No, this next one is the same thing.
Oh, is it?
Is it?
Okay.
Well, it says street regulations, use of alcoholic beverages.
Okay. There is,
It's worded slightly different.
but it's
The
no
same thing.
better.
Okay, I move that we rescind this one.
Okay.
These are not numbered, that's why I'm saying it that way.
Right. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the
Motion
last.
carries. The last one is dated July 14th of 75. The existing ordinance, 7343, and also approved by the Deputy Commissioner of Highways, reads as follows. No vehicle shall be left standing all night upon any highway or bridge between so-called North Main Street, I like that, bridge or otherwise, this is the North Main Street Bridge, otherwise known as the B&M Bridge, and the High Street Bridge, and the so-called Water Street Bridge, including Water Street between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. These regulations are effective immediately. Any violations of the above ordinance shall be punished by a fine not to exceed $10. The Selectmen of Troy, in accordance with a bunch of RSAs, wish to make the following amendment. No vehicle shall be left standing upon any public way or bridge between the so-called North Main Street Bridge, otherwise known as the B&M Bridge, and the High Street Bridge, and the so-called Water Street Bridge, including Water Street, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So they were starting it earlier. This amendment becomes effective immediately. Any violation punished by a fine not to exceed $10.
You gotta
Okay, now
spell
that's
check these
Another
things.
ordinance, a newer ordinance.
Okay, but I have a
Go
question.
by.
How valid is this ordinance? It is not signed by anyone. It is not dated.
You're gonna rescind it, what difference does it make?
We don't have to rescind it.
Let's
It's
do it
even
anyway.
valid.
Well, there's
Well,
RSA's.
actually, it was passed at a selectmen's meeting.
Right.
They just haven't signed it yet.
That cost, another copy may be somewhere else, yeah.
Well,
Who knows?
the Selectmen of Troy, in accordance with RSA's, wish to make the following amendment. So it didn't fall in the RSA's, so maybe it falls underneath them.
Well, the RSA said between 1 AM and 6 AM. The selectmen changed it to
10
start at
Right.
10 PM.
10 p.m.
So all we're doing is reducing that, we're not changing obviously the RSA. So I move that we rescind that statute.
I second.
All in favor?
Ordinance,
Ordinance, thank you.
because it's in another one.
Right.
Okay.
So that carries, that ordinance is rescinded. So the only one we didn't do away with was the parking on North Main Street.
The what?
Well, no, the first two.
What was the second one?
The Baptist church.
We didn't get rid of that.
Right.
Right, oh, that's the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 2 pages. Bless
Bless
you.
you.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Alan, do you need your copy?
I do not.
Can I have that so I can?
Yes, as soon as Curtis finishes with it.
And I need my copy.
Did you get a copy?
I thought that one was mine.
Oh, no.
Okay, can I go forward with the couple of other things I had, or not?
Yes.
Okay, David, by any chance, Jimmy was in this morning to David and I and reported a horrible odor on, what is that road? Quarry Road.
I
And did
went
you
up,
have
I didn't
time?
smell
You didn't
anything.
smell anything? Okay,
Whereabouts on Quarry Road? In front of Jimmy's
beyond
house?
Jimmy's house, beyond
Beyond,
Jimmy's
okay.
He
house.
said you could smell it the whole road, right,
Yeah.
right into the common, but
Smell
he
like
said there was
what,
a
though?
haze and
And
the
this,
only thing I could by the fire station today, I could smell, but it really smelled like
uh-oh,
they had just started the
cremate.
cremation thing up, and that sometime before it gets hot enough puts out a slight odor, but
So I don't know where we can go with this, because if we have no proof of anything, or,
well, he did say that he thought it was
yes,
carcasses
carcasses
up
being
on
burnt.
Davis's property, so I mean, if you want me to check that out and see if there are carcasses, I can. Then that goes to a health issue, so.
Then I would have to
you can
call
notify the health
DES.
officer.
What would you like to do?
Whatever you want to do is fine.
Check it out.
I'll check out and see what they do about the carcasses up
Okay,
there,
and then just call me.
I'll get them over here.
Call me at home. Okay, that takes care of that. Community center. Didn't say rec center. At the community center, the painting was finished
Mhm.
by DA Brothers. So whenever they were waiting for your dad to come and repair that door, but he hasn't. So they went ahead before winter and finished the painting. So your dad's going to have to paint now after he repairs the door. Whatever, he removes around the door, whatever.
I'll take care of the painting myself.
Okay, all right, so that's off my list. Okay. That's it.
Okay, Curtis, you have anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, I have nothing. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order? Richard left, okay, he was just here with historical, okay. If there's nothing else then, I move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Meeting is adjourned at 7:48 PM.